Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something huge, a real paradox happening in companies everywhere. Why AI transformation projects are, well, often failing.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You see these massive announcements, these big numbers.
Exactly, like, what was it, 73% of major companies are already implementing AI or have solid plans to. And McKinsey thinks we'll hit 70% adoption across industries by 2030. It's like a done deal, Rick.
It really does sound inevitable, but, if you scratch just below the surface of those headlines, the picture changes quite a bit.
How so?
Well, the internal failure rate for these huge, expensive AI projects, it's stubbornly high, especially for those mid-market companies trying desperately to keep up.
And we hear some wild stories putting this together.
Hmm.
I remember one source talking about a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mm-hmm.
They poured millions into a cutting-edge AI marketing platform.
Mm-hmm.
Worked like a dream in the labs, perfect demos. But then, 12 weeks after rollout,
Mm-hmm.
adoption was stuck, like really stuck, 15%.
15%.
Wow. Yeah. And get this, employees were actually inventing manual workarounds,
Mm.
Z-work basically, just to avoid touching the new AI system.
And that story highlights the absolute core issue we need to unpack today. The shocking thing is, it's almost never about the technology itself.
Really, the AI usually works.
Usually, yes. The tools function as advertised, more or less. The real bottleneck, the thing that trips everyone up, it's human. It's us.
So the old ways of managing change,
Yeah.
Send more emails, do more training PowerPoints, that stuff doesn't cut it here.
Not for AI, no. That old playbook might have worked okay for, say, rolling out a new email client or something relatively simple, but it completely falls apart when you're introducing intelligent automation. The game's changed.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is clear then. We need to get under the hood of this new kind of AI resistance. Why is it different?
Exactly. Traditional change management just doesn't touch the deep-seated fears.
We need to figure out the frameworks, the approaches that can actually shift these mindsets, turn that resistance into genuine readiness.
That's the goal. Because this resistance feels fundamentally different, doesn't it? It's deeper than just, grumbling about learning a new spreadsheet program.
It does feel different. Why is that? Why does AI feel so primal sometimes? If the goal is making work easier, being more productive, why are people actively fighting the tools?
Because the conversation immediately pivots. It's not just about usability anymore, where's the button for X? It becomes about survival, about your long-term career security, your value. When you bring in a system that can learn and potentially make decisions that used to be yours, you're poking at some really fundamental psychological fears. Fears about a person's core identity, even.
Okay, so what are these big fears? The ones managers often seem to miss when they're focused on the tech specs.
Right, let's break them down. Fear factor number 1, job replacement, and maybe even worse, irrelevance.
The big one.
It is. And the research backs this up strongly. Over half of employees, 53% in one study, genuinely fear that just using AI will signal to their bosses that they're replaceable.
Wow. So using the tool makes them feel less secure.
Exactly. And that anxiety is powerful. Get this. 52% of employees actually feel uncomfortable telling their managers they're using AI for important tasks. They hide it.
That's completely upside down. Hiding a tool that could make them better at their job,
Yeah.
just to seem indispensable. The tech might work, but the social dynamic is broken.
Perfectly put. It's a broken social contract. Okay, so fear factor number 2, cognitive overload and trust.
Explain that one.
Think about traditional software. A spreadsheet, for instance. It's transparent, right? You can click on a cell, see the formula, audit how it got the number.
Sure.
AI often isn't like that. Machine learning models can be black boxes. The decisions happen inside, hidden behind complex algorithms you can't easily inspect.
Okay, I see. Less transparency.
Right. And that lack of transparency makes people question the output. They feel like they're losing control. It
Yeah.
can also feed into something called AI shame.
AI shame. What's that?
It's the fear of being judged as lazy or maybe incompetent because you relied on the AI instead of doing all the legwork yourself.
Oh, okay. So if I use AI to whip up a market analysis, I might worry my team thinks I didn't really do the work myself, like I cheated.
Precisely. It becomes a crisis of intellectual ownership almost. And then there's the third factor, which is huge, especially for highly skilled professionals, identity threat.
Identity threat. How does AI threaten someone's identity?
Well, think about how professionals define themselves. Often it's by their unique expertise, their special skills. A top financial analyst prides themselves on spotting that subtle market trend no one else saw.
Or an experienced HR manager values their intuition, their ability to read people in an interview.
Exactly, their unique feel for the situation. When an AI comes along and starts performing tasks that seem similar, tasks that were core to their professional identity and sense of uniqueness, it's a direct challenge.
That sounds like a serious status crisis. How do you manage that? You've got a highly valuable expert, someone with decades of experience, suddenly feeling like their hard-won knowledge is being turned into a commodity by an algorithm.
It's incredibly personal. That's why resistance isn't just some abstract organizational problem you can solve with a memo.
So we can't treat everyone the same.
Absolutely not. That's the crucial next step. We have to distinguish between resistance, which is active opposition, people may be spreading negative gossip, or even subtly sabotaging the rollout.
Right, the active fighters.
Yes. And then there's reluctance, which is more passive. It's hesitation, uncertainty, maybe people just needing more proof for hand-holding before they commit.
Okay, so resistance versus reluctance, active versus passive. Reluctance sounds more manageable, maybe with better communication.
Generally, yes. Reluctance can often be addressed with clear information, good training, showcasing benefits. But resistance, that active pushback, that requires getting to the emotional core, addressing those fears we talked about directly.
And who are the groups most likely to show that active resistance? Where should managers be looking?
Well, interestingly, it's often middle management that shows the most active resistance.
Middle managers. Why them?
They're caught in a tough spot. They get pressure from the top to implement the AI, make it work, but they also face the resistance and anxieties from their teams below. Plus, they often worry about their own roles. Will AI automate the supervision, the decision-making, the expertise that gave them authority?
The classic middle management squeeze, amplified by AI.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Who else?
Those highly skilled workers we mentioned earlier, the experts, they have more status, more specialized expertise that feels threatened, so they have more to lose psychologically. And because they often have high status, their negativity can really poison the well for the entire team.
So their attitude has an outsized impact.
Definitely. And beyond individual roles or status, you also see specific departmental anxieties pop up.
Like what? Different functions worry about different things.
Exactly. Sales teams, for example, might worry that AI will make customer interactions feel cold, impersonal, damaging relationships.
Okay.
Finance teams, they're often terrified of errors. And given all the news about AI potentially enabling sophisticated fraud, that fear of a public mistake, maybe even regulatory trouble, is very real for them.
And operations.
Operations teams are typically focused on stability and efficiency. They worry, rightly so sometimes, about disrupting processes that, while maybe old, are proven and working. An AI glitch in operations could halt production or service delivery entirely. Big risk.
Okay, so the fears are deep, varied, and sometimes role-specific. The strategic response, then, it sounds like it has to start with changing the story, reframing AI.
That's absolutely central. You have to shift the narrative away from replacement and towards augmentation.
AI is a helper, not a replacement.
Precisely. And this is where language becomes incredibly powerful. You need to help people visualize a positive future role for themselves with AI. The analyst isn't just crunching data anymore. They become a trend strategist, using AI insights to make higher-level judgments.
And the HR manager.
Maybe they shift from screening resumes to becoming a people experience designer, using AI data to understand employee needs better and create a better workplace. It's about elevating the human role.
That requires a real shift in how we talk about jobs internally. Are there companies doing this reframing well? Any examples?
Yeah, there are some good ones. Amazon, facing fears about warehouse automation, made a very public commitment to creating new human roles alongside the robots, things like robotics technicians. They addressed the fear head on.
Okay, so they created a narrative of new opportunity.
Right. And Walmart did something similar. They rolled out a generative AI assistant to, I think it was 50,000 corporate employees. But crucially, they framed it only as a productivity aid.
How so?
They focused on tasks like summarizing long documents or drafting emails and memos, things that help but don't replace core judgment. The messaging was clearly, this tool is here to support you, not supplant you.
Got it. So the language really matters. Instead of saying AI is going to automate task X, you should say something like,
AI will handle the routine data entry for task X, freeing you up to focus on the strategic analysis part. You connect it to a better personal outcome for them.
you'll have more time for the interesting work, the meaningful stuff.
Exactly. Focus on the benefit to the person, not just the efficiency gain for the company. But here's the catch.
Uh-oh.
Before you even